everyone. Welcome back to the Beach Court Podcast. We got a new season. We got new intros. We got new stuff. We got new overlays. We're going to all the new stuff today. We're going to talk about brand new regional and recap some of the new rules and how they actually impacted the regionals this weekend in Frankfurt and Monterrey. So we'll give you a regional recap, break down what happened, who won. Gardy, surprising. What surprised us? Not Gardy winning. And what our prediction results were. Maddox did some tallying up from our predictions last episode, so we'll see how we did. Of course, we'll have our fun trivia segment where I'll try to stump the boys, but I had to prepare like less this week, because somebody stole my answer somehow. It was my fault. Anyways, moving on. Last segment, we'll talk about the meta review and what we think the Frankfurt and Monterrey results and meta shares, how it will impact and change in 1 week. Pittsburgh's on Saturday, so good luck to everybody going. We'll bring you all of our opinions here, all that and much more on the Beach Court Podcast this week. My name is Eric Ridgway. We got Max Corcoran here, Parker Greenwald. Max, you got a new background there. You got some fancy stuff going up.
Yeah, upgraded the backdrop a little bit. One of my little projects from this past weekend. I got another mat up there. I got my Jigglypuff sign. I got the esteemed ukulele from Hawaii, and anyone who knows me, I'm a musician. I love music, but this thing sounds awful to play, but it looks great on the wall, so it's gonna hang out here. But other than that, I mean, it's been a good weekend. I got the backdrop going. Just kind of taking care of the last little bit of prep before traveling to Pittsburgh this week. Did take a little break from grinding and preparing to go to a pre-release yesterday, and I know y'all went to pre-releases this past weekend as well.
Yes.
And actually, I was very glad that I had the Inteleon segment last week, because I ended up with Inteleon. And I got to tell you, that deck is not very good. The pre-built, the prefab it comes with. A lot of times for the pre-releases, they would give you like two different packages. It'd be like, hey, here's like the Inteleon package, then here's the
they didn't do that this time.
Yeah, it was like just the Inteleon. I'm like, man, you're really
honestly,
having to
that was such a good thing that they did that, even though the Inteleon sucked. Because like I was happy with not getting two like half-built decks. Did you get two lilies?
I did get two lilies. Yes.
It felt like every single kit had two lilies, and that was great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the pre-release was nice. I mean, I ended up pulling more of like the Snom and Frostlass and like Inteleon line in my kit, so I was able to just like build it out even thicker. What was it? But all the pros, I was like, you play Dragapult, you just go boss stall something. But I didn't pull any boss. I didn't get any Hariyama. I got a Hariyama, but no Makuhita. I had one Repel. That was my only pseudo gust available.
I guess.
And also that, yeah,
you couldn't go boss stall.
I went 2-1 still. Lost to the grass deck because that's pretty broken. The fighting deck, I was able to like build the proper board to just start bringing down everything, and then and I hit the psychic deck the last round, and I just had, they made me go first, and I just had in hand Rare Candy and Inteleon and just started like sniping their apparatus. And I just like bring down. Just like,
bro, we had like 3 ties all day at Wokey Pokey. You want to know what deck tied? The Inteleon deck. There's like damage. When I walked over, I looked. There's like damage counters everywhere, and I'm like, oh my god. Bro.
You gotta start swinging. And also, it was weird. I mean, like honestly, like I don't even think the Inteleon deck is like good for like a new player, because like if they tell you in the game, it's like, oh, get your basic Pokemon and build them up. You're like, oh, your Snom is 50 HP. Nothing else in the pre-release. I mean, I think Abra has like 40 or 50 HP, but like everything else is like so weak. Like, you're just gonna end up with spots where you just have to snipe your own dudes. I don't know. Seem kind of sus, but still clutched up for the 2-1. Pulled the SIR Acerola. I was gonna say it's not Acerola's Premonition, right?
Mischief.
Acerola's Premonition is a different card, I think.
Different card.
So, but yeah, good weekend. I mean, what about y'all? I know y'all went to the same pre-release, I think.
Yeah, Parker. I didn't go to Parker. I was.
No, actually, y'all both judged pre-releases.
We both judged pre-releases this weekend.
Judged them, yeah.
Yeah. Parker, you got a new backdrop going too. Tell us about what's going on with you.
Yeah, so I'm recording this from my jail cell, actually. No, I'm just kidding. So usually
Parker is not in jail, nor is being chased by the law.
No, not at all. So typically I have my Pokemon trading card game backdrop, but since we switched recording platforms, I don't have the backdrop. So I get a nice.
Gotta get to work, bro. You gotta get to work.
Yeah, I know.
We know you got some old good stuff you could put on that wall.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I probably could, honestly.
Or just like get your like lost Tina deck and just like staple it to the wall or something.
I could. I probably have all the cards still. But
Arctina, Lost Tina.
Argentina, yep. But yeah, no. What did I play? Oh, I played Goldango on Thursday. I got first. It was 401. I had a very like awkward game versus Will, who's like a really good Gardevoir player. I prized 4 energies, 2 of those being metal, and I was like, if he like can catch me with like an Iono counter catcher and like I don't have an air balloon attached, like I can't attack anymore.
Then he bricked.
But he also prized 2 Ralts, so
Yeah.
I got blessed there. So where yeah, I was able to take it just purely because of that.
Yeah.
But
Rest
yeah,
in peace, Raw.
yeah. I judged the Cool Stuff pre-release on Sunday. I got or like a couple judge calls that I was like, oh, that's like But
How many players did you have? How many kits did you guys? I know you sold out.
yeah, we sold out of kits. We had 5 people that bought kits and didn't show up. So it's like pretty disappointing, but because I had to turn away at least like 10 people almost.
Yeah.
So that could have been 5 people playing, but I guess everything has its flaws. But
So how many kits did you guys have?
we only had 40.
Yeah, that's what Loki had too.
Yeah, and I don't get why ours is so small. It's like there's like others like random stores in like Southern Florida that like they're like, yeah, we had the 16-man challenge. Oh, and we got 70 pre-release kits. How? Like what? But,
There used to be more. We used to be getting more. I don't know.
yeah. Well, we used to be able to get like 200, and then like they just like cut.
I wonder, like, cool. Do they like probably like treat cool stuff holistically, and then cool stuff separates them out, or no?
No, we're all different
Okay.
leagues. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. I don't know. Did you have any good pulls from your judge packs?
Yeah, for my judge packs, I pulled the Lily's Determination, and it's so heartbreaking. The SIR, because it's got a print line on the left side, and it's literally like the only card in my box that has that.
No.
That was so sad.
I must say
Time to ripple it.
I saw some SIRs and some horrible print line quality this weekend.
Yeah.
But like, is it because it's pre-release? I don't know. Maybe I don't know.
I don't know.
Maybe that's how they iron things out. Maybe that's how they justify doing pre-releases. Who knows? I mean, it's like
They take all
seriously,
the
like
reject cards and just shove them. Like,
I mean,
it's a reject. You know it has a print line before you put it in the pack. Like,
I mean,
Pokemon
that could be a thing. Like, honestly, that could be a thing.
Hey, by the way, buy her set.
So yeah, I judged the pre-release this weekend at Loki also, and like I said, some ties and some fun. Got some. Didn't have many judge calls. Most of the judge calls was about Forest of Giant Plants, whatever that thing is called. Like, oh, if I have Bulbasaur in play, but then I evolve to Ivysaur, during my next turn, can I then use it? Yes, you can, because it has to be in play during that turn. So you had to put the Pokemon down. So like, if you go first and you bench Bulbasaur on turn 2, you can't use the stadium to go to Ivysaur because it wasn't, it didn't come in play that turn. So that's how the card reads. It has to be something you played
what?
that turn. Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, read the card, dude.
What is it called? Forest of Vitality.
We're both reading the card.
Yeah, I'm like, wait, what?
Hey, hey, listen, my shtick. I always give these guys grief for not knowing every card in Standard. Vitality Force is not yet in Standard.
That's
so
fair. That's fair.
I'm in the clear. I don't need to know what it does yet. However, there were some cases. I mean, I had someone put it down on the first turn of the game and try to evolve to a Meganium. I'm like, no, it specifically says that on it.
Yeah. So it says each player's grass Pokemon can evolve into grass Pokemon on the turn they are put into play, except each player's first turn.
Well, what do you know?
And that's why I'm judging this weekend. Let's go.
Dang,
I mean, because like that's going to be a thing that's going to pop up this week for sure. So anyways, my judge packs were blessed. I got the gold Mega Lucario. He is beautiful. It was pretty funny because friend of the pod, Mitch, he's a big Lucario lover. And I'm like, dude, if I pull a SIR or a gold Lucario, he's yours. I pulled it. I'm like, Mitch, you want this? He's like, budget. I'm moving. I'm like, I thought you wanted the Lucario. Anyways, yeah, that was this week. It was a fun week. I played Goldingo Typhlosion to locals on Thursday. Was a great call because the room was full of Goldingo. You know how many Goldingos I hit? 0.
So,
You have a good deck.
I went 3-1-1. My loss was the something stupid.
Zard,
Dragapult Dusknoir.
No, it wasn't Zard. It was whatever it was.
It was
I was
Dragapult Dusknoir.
Maybe it was, but I just literally just didn't play the game. I just didn't set up, so it's okay. Locals got top 8, 3-1-1. That's good for top 8 at locals these days. And we'll be preparing for Pittsburgh this week. But yeah, Maddox, why don't you walk us through? And for those of you that are listening on our podcast platforms, we really appreciate you. We're going to start sharing our screen over on YouTube and Spotify. You can have a video there. So we're going to break down the regional results this week. Let's start with Frankfurt since it was earlier in the day. Max, what do you think this week? What's going on?
Definitely what I was thinking. I mean, again, so in case this is your quick news update for anyone who wasn't following. So maybe a surprise, maybe not a surprise, but our world champion winning deck Gardevoir has yet again won another regional in Frankfurt. And it also won Monterrey, as mentioned. We'll get to that in a second. But we saw Rune winning with a pretty standard Gardevoir. I mean, really not too much frills to what we've seen before. But this is kind of your standard 3-2-2 Gardevoir. With the Mew EX, Screamtail, Lily Sclefairy, kind of your standard support package, 3 monkeys. You're playing 3 charms and no Drifloon, which is a little bit notable, but just really based around consistency. The big change is the 8 psychics and 4 vessels. So it's really leaning into just finding that energy early and getting it into the discard. So, Rune did a good job there again, pulling a list, and actually had to defeat none other than the debated GOAT himself, Tord Reklev, playing Dragapult Dusknoir. He was known a lot for the straight Dragapult.
Yeah.
Switched to Dragapult Dusknoir for this one. But the big surprise here is he played a Dragapult Dusknoir with 4 rare candies. And you're thinking, oh, it must have played Arvid and Unfair Stamp. No. This is still the, Iona Research, Rock Scouting, Hilda list with Neo Upper, and just jam 4 rare candies into there. And, his thought is just saying, it's when you're investing spots in the deck towards techs, is, jamming Tower didn't always work. Cornerstone and Maractus stuff didn't always work, but going faster did help, right? People weren't ready for, you to rush into a Dusknoir out of nowhere, rush into a Dragapult out of nowhere. Decks like Raging Boulder taking advantage of the slow setup that you have to do in order to get into a Dragapult. And so here you can, jump a little bit faster, right? Your rare candy is your consistency a little bit, getting your Dragapults or Dusknoirs out faster. And also a little bit higher potential of just saying, hey, I just found a quick, turn to Dragapult. And
I mean, you literally
almost wins the game, right? On the spot.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, you look at this list, it is the most consistent list in the world. And there's been some arguments about the 2 psychics versus 1 fire, or 2 fires versus 1 psychic. And there's one definitive answer. And it is 2 psychics let you attack with Dusknoir more often against Crustle and stuff. So that is that's the reason why you're playing 2 if you're playing 2-1 split. But super consistent list, 4 Iono, 4 research, 4 evolution searching cards, 2 boss, 3 counter catcher. It's just straight gas, man. I don't know what to say. I mean, this is just a Tord build. This is what it is. Just straight consistency. It's so weird because I feel like Tord either plays the most consistent thing you've ever seen in your entire life, or the biggest pile you've ever seen in your entire life, and there's never any middle ground, ever.
Yeah, basically. I mean, and he did have a couple. I know that he was working on a one of pile that he didn't end up playing, but I think worked out pretty well for him. But feel bad for Tord. I mean, Tord just keeps running into random respectfully, Gardevoir players that are a little under the radar. End up winning the event, right?
Yeah.
and these last couple top cuts versus NAIC, and now again here.
and we can get this when we get to Pittsburgh a little bit. I do want to ask the question here. Are we getting to the point where because at some point during last season, Dragon Bolt was a bad play because like there was that much Gardevoir running around. All the good players were playing Gardevoir. If you want to win the tournament, you got to go through Gardevoir. So like that made Dragon Bolt like a bad play because as you saw in finals, this is a bad matchup. Like it's actually unfavored. I mean, he did have a spot where like he could have won game 3, just never literally never found Neo Upper Energy. It was like research Iono. Like it was so much draw that he just never found it. But are we getting close to a time where Dragapult's a bad play?
I don't think so, personally.
I don't know if you can ever call Dragapult Dusknoir a bad play. Again, you have a hard time in the Guardy, and you kind of have to play Dusknoir to have a better chance in the Guardy.
Right.
But again, when you have such a good matchup into everything else, does that overcome it?
Yeah,
but at the end of the day, can you win a tournament without being able to beat Guardy? Lately, the answer has been squarely no. You have to beat Guardy. At the end of the day, you'll have to play a Guardian finals, and if you can't beat it, you're not winning.
That's right.
But anyways, we'll talk through a couple of these real quick. So we saw a couple other innovative Dragapult lists. We saw Kaido with like a variant of more of a straight Dragapult, but he also included a 1/1 Dusclops line along with the Cornerstone and Maractus, kind of like he played at World. So pretty similar list there, except he included the Dusclops package.
And he played 2 pickup cards.
Yeah, just like exactly. Yeah, he had that same list at Worlds. So the same pieces. Okay. I think they had like a pseudo Wudo, and I think they had a Palpad. So they had like a couple extra cards. Eventually swapped them out for the Dusclops to again give you a little bit of that like Dragapult Dusknoir power, but really it's like the straight Dragapult. Fabian Pujol again always cooking with something. Recently played Garchomp at NAIC, but here showed up with Dragapult Blaziken, which is maybe that deck that the one person at Locals has been playing, and you didn't really think anything of it, but here it is at the top 4 at a major regional. Really cool list. I mean, plays the Peturant, plays really a bunch of stuff. Plays a 2/1/2 Blaziken, the 3/3/2 Dragapult, 2 Monkey, a Chi-Yu, L-Gem to move energy around, a Shaman for bench protection. The Peturant's kind of a neat tech to like retreat lock plus spread some poison damage, then clean it up later with a Blaziken or Dragapult. So really, really cool list to see. And honestly, just any Blaziken enjoyers out there is hopefully having a field day with this.
Yeah, you can also KO a Fan Rotom or a 70 HP Pokemon without triggering Fez.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, lots of good options with this. The rest of the top cut, again, including ASIM out to 11. There's a Joltik box. We do say a Goldango list, and the Goldango list is actually a Revavroom Goldango with the secret box.
Isn't that crazy that Revavroom was the... We'll get to the predictions, but
yeah, we'll get the predictions. But that wasn't our guess at all.
That wasn't on our bingo card.
Yeah, this is almost identical to the Daniel Magda build from Worlds, where that Revavroom.
Wait, he only played 3 Superior?
That's what Daniel Magda played too.
Oh,
you don't need it. You have 2 Levincia. You have you're to get an extra prize with Fan Rotom early.
Crazy, bro. That's crazy.
Yeah, you do have the Super Rod for a little bit more like energy recovery to go with your 4 vessel. So
yeah, fair.
Yeah, a little bit.
Oh yeah, 4 vessel because you're not playing Search Pro.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you need it.
Wow. Yeah, so box just equals turn 1 KO with Rotom.
Yeah, I mean the combo here is you go secret box for actually he's not playing an Artisan, which is something Daniel Magda played, so there is a change in here somewhere. But I mean you can go secret box for Stadium plus Air Balloon plus Buddy Poffin plus Boss for next turn. Yeah. As long as you have an energy in hand, you have Air Balloon retreat into your Fan Rotom, play the Stadium down, start attacking. So
that's pretty good.
Very, very good combo. We did skip over Dominic Fink's list real quick, but Joltik box, a pretty standard list. Did include the Ace Nullifier Genesect.
Yeah.
But nothing too much to report.
I think the Future Booster is not normal too, but it's a good
Future Booster and Iono. Iono's kind of been coming out of lists, so it's back in here. We do see the Psychic and Clefairy and an Iron Leaves as well. So a couple different options here that Dominic chose to include. And then we have Terrabox Story. Now, Terrabox is going to be a bit of a trend, as we talked about. There were 3 Terrabox that did make the asymmetrical cut. 2 of them made it into top 8 cut. One of them lost in the asim cut. The highest placing Mies, who's been in public eye lately, got his laptop back. Good for him. but playing a Terrorbox list with a 1/1 Pidgeot included. So Terrorbox kind of in a good position here. Not a lot of decks have a good answer to Pikachu EX. A lot of decks playing Shaman, so you have the Wellspring Ogerpon, so lots of good options. But the 101 Pidgeot line is kind of the main standout to help some consistency.
Yeah, I like the Pidgeot a lot. I like the Pidgeot inclusion. No Briar's interesting.
Yeah, Briar's kind of like the one card we miss, and when we go to these next couple Terrorbox, the kind of the main change we see them there is they do have a Briar and like counter catcher combination when a lot of them didn't before. And actually, the 9th place list is actually interesting. I don't know how to say this person's name. I'm not even going to attempt to say it. Polish, but 9th place finisher here is actually playing a Judge and an Ends Plan for a little bit extra tech supporter options.
Oh, Ends Plan.
So the Ends Plan combos both the Glass Trumpet
and the Volcanion, yeah.
And the Volcanion. So an answer for opposing Pikachus or just extra burn damage. But also the Glass Trumpet, not a usual inclusion in Terrorbox, but the Glass Trumpet plus the Ends Plan kind of becomes like your We Have Crispin at Home option.
Yeah.
And also no Super Rod in this list instead for just 2 Night Stretcher. So the Glass Trumpet being a little bit weightier, like get your faster energy.
I mean, is that better than playing a 4th Crispin though?
You don't need 4 Crispin.
I know, but is it better than playing a 4th Crispin? You don't need 4 Crispin. You just want Crispin in your hand.
Yes, but you can't Crispin. You can't play Crispin as your supporter every turn. So like I agree that
sure you can.
You want more
Crispin Torrential Pump, Crispin Torrential Pump.
Well, I think in this list with no counter catcher, you want the option, and actually no Briar in this list as well. Like you probably want the option to be able to go like,
yeah,
okay, Glass Trumpet, E-Switch, attach, Judge, something like that, right?
Yeah.
Gives you some
Did
cool
none of these
options.
play Iono?
I mean, they don't really.
Some play Iono there. Okay.
Alexandra's list is is probably the most like standard of them, I'd have to say.
Oh, they both played. Okay, so they both played Iono. He just
and Mies played Iono, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It's rounding out the rest of our asymmetrical code. We have Consta Kamala, again, great player. Had the pleasure of playing against him at Worlds as well. He played a Gardevoir with a 1/1 Jelly line plus the Drifloon. So pretty solid there. Only 3 research, which is maybe a little bit.
Why couldn't he win for my prediction?
was not it. No Drifloon for y'all, and only 2 Monkey, 2 Dark. So having to really kind of compromise some space. But the big standout is Richard Herman with the Greninja EX Dusknoir Pidgeot.
This list is so good.
Yeah, this is very fire. Right? If you're listening in the car, like check this list out later when you're not driving or whatever it is. But a 3/1/2 Greninja, a 2/1/2 Dusknoir, 2/1/2 Pidgeot, to go with Grand Tree as your ace spec. You're playing like an Arvin engine plus some Colress's Tenacity. Basically, you're setting up your Greninja with the Ignition Energy, attach a water plus attach Ignition Energy to use Mirage Barrage. But also comboing your Dusknoir to spread some damage, counter catcher, one Iono, Pidgeot to find all the pieces you need. Very, very cool list.
Yeah, I was impressed looking at this list.
Yeah, I mean, me too. I mean, I know Parker. What you kind of said this earlier off the record. We kind of feel like the format was a little solved, and we kind of got surprised by that with this kind of stuff. I mean, dude, like this is turn 2 Mirage Barrage. I mean, like if Terrorbox is good and Thunderburst Storm is good, then this is too, right? Like this is a Colress Tenacity equals turn 2 Greninja EX attack if you attach turn 1.
Yeah.
So that's just crazy. I mean, you could even play like a 4 Colress Tenacity in this build because like it's probably that good as long as you get a Froakie down turn 1.
Yeah, I mean the combo. I think the pilot was in maybe Azul's chat earlier, but it's like you go for your turn 2 Colress's Tenacity to get Grand Tree to get your Pidgeot out and get your Ignition Energy, and if you had an energy on Froakie, then you just start swinging, right?
Yeah,
like you can quick search for whatever you're missing. Or you get your air balloon or another way to pivot in.
Crazy.
Or you pop a Dusclops to get in, right? All these different options. So very, very cool. Excited to try this one out at locals for
sure. It kind of looks like a Charizard pile, but like it operates because it has Pidgeot. Right? I mean, right? I mean, you got look at the one-ofs. You got one. Like, so many one-ofs.
I don't know how innovative that was to say so many one-ofs. One.
Well, okay, you got one counter catcher, one power pad, one switch, one tool scrapper, one e-switch. Okay.
Yeah, that's all. That's only one. Yeah, well, actually, you have 4 Buddy Poppin, 4 Ultra.
I mean, thank God there's not one Poppin. I'd probably flip the table.
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, cool list though. I'm pretty excited to see what's cooking. And then right on the outside looking in, you had Caster Mike Ellis take Grimm all the way to 13th place. Just outside of top cut. And he's showing that Caster's got it too, man. He was behind the desk at Worlds, and here he is in Frankfurt, taking it down, right? Taking it down to top 13. He was on stream, played well. Said he'd like the 2-3 Frost last line, just so that way he can find extra consistency to find the Frost last more often. That way it's less likely that one's prized. And I mean, this list is, just consistency for Arvin, for Iono, for research. It's not one ofs unlike the last list we were in, but what are your thoughts on Grimm right on the outside looking in?
I mean, that's a deck that I like. I see the 2-3 Frost last line. That's pretty interesting. I know the theory behind it is you get Frost loss out more.
Yeah.
Pretty cool list. No Badu or Maractus, which is a little surprising, I guess.
Yeah, no Badu is surprising, I guess.
Yeah, it does play the Iron Bundle as that extra, bench sitter option type of thing. Give you pseudo Gus since there's no boss and only 2 counter catchers. I think the big standout here is the double devolution as well. Give you some extra lines into decks like Dragapult, which I think was a good call for this. Also included an energy switch, which we sometimes see, but with 4 Monkey Dory gives you a little more aggressive setting up your Monkey Dory, some bigger moving damage plays. And this bike's like first regional actually competing. So I think he kind of said he's just been grinding and playing a lot, kind of preparing for this. And I think it's a case where just someone who was very comfortable with the deck showed up doing well and went on a good run, and props to Mike for that.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else you want to call out? What else stood out to us from Frankfurt?
Frankfurt, there's this guy. He holds 2 stones in his hand, and people forgot about him. But
who had on their bingo card 2 Conquistadors in top 32?
Yeah, so here's the wild stat for everyone listening at home is that Benjamin Gorgos finished 13th place with Conkelder at 11-3 record. Now there's a Conkelder at 8-0 at the end of phase 1, and it was not him. It was a different Conkelder player who ended 8-0. And still a different one ended up in top 16, and then the other one, Alex Vizmara, finished in top 32. But I mean, this is kind of a deck that people have known about. Maybe you've seen it online. Maybe again, this is one of those that one guy at locals plays this, and it never goes well for them. But then here it is on the biggest stage doing well. So the Conkelder really benefiting from this cool idea of the Dunsparce engine comboing with Hilda and enriching energy, since you never need to actually attach an energy to attack with Conkelder. If you're able to chain Hilda turn after turn, then you can get your Dunsparce into play. You can go evolve your Dunsparce into Dunsparce, attach enriching energy to draw 4, shuffle it in to draw 3 more, and now your Dunsparce and your enriching energy are preserved for next turn. So you see a ton of cards with this deck. Benjamin actually has a little bit of a variation on it, where he's actually playing the 101 Pidgeot line, which is not a standard inclusion. Normally he's playing a thicker 4/4 Dunsparce, but here he opted for the Pidgeot, which I think is a great piece. Conkelder decks before, ones that I've played to locals in my Rogue days, had the Pidgeot to help put all the combo pieces together.
Maddox,
yeah, really cool to see.
Why are we joking, bro? We know you're playing this to Pittsburgh. Come on.
I mean,
I know you have it sleeved up.
I have it sleeved up on the table right now.
I know
I got all 3 play stamped hollow Conkelders. I'm ready to go.
I know you're ready to fly.
But I mean, again, this is a deck that has been a lot of fun to play, and honestly, it has a good showing here. Again, I think the hard part is here is you struggle in the Gardevoir, but it did beat the one Gardevoir that it played. But you have a harder time to Dragapult, which is a little trickier, but it is a winnable matchup. There are some nice parts about this. You kind of beat every 2 prize attacker, right? Goldengo and Raging Bolt and Terra Box are all kind of child's play for you. You have 100% Crustal win rate, so that's always good to know.
I bet you when he sat down against Crustle around 13, the guy was like, oh, God, no.
Well, the problem is he played against Enzo in round 5, right? It's 4-0, and you're getting a mirror match into another Conkelder deck, right? And there are a few of these that happen too.
Did you have any out here?
We'll define an out.
Well, I didn't know like if you had like Maractus or something, like you like Maractus over and over. You know,
Nah, just Conkeldurr. I mean, like you can throw a Crustle up and hit for 120, and then they're like, delete, right? Like Luxurious Cape doesn't matter. Like it still KOs through Luxurious Cape.
it's crazy.
So
Yeah,
I think that's the main. Those are kind of the main standouts for anyone who needs a little Frankfurt recap.
all right, well, let's jump over to Monterrey. There was another regional down in Brazil where, as we alluded to already, Gardevoir took it down again. We had clean cut here, top 8. I know there was some discussion on Twitter or X going on that there was close to like a 16-person cut, but there was like a match result. I wasn't following it too close, but there was a match cut that made that not possible. So, and I'm calling that out because this is a big piece of information for everyone. X21 did not make top cut at this regional, and this regional is going to be close to our. I mean, this is smaller than our size at
Half the size of Pittsburgh.
you know,
One round
half the
less.
size of Pittsburgh. So, did we have an X21 at? I didn't look. I wasn't following along.
Frankfurt.
X31. So.
Well, X21 made it, and then
Yeah, X21. Yeah,
They
like
lost.
Richard,
Yeah.
like Richard lost the first round of ASIM.
Yeah, you're right. So X21s did make it at the larger tournament, which is good for you. So just keep that in mind when you think about your round 8. If you want to ID at that X21 record or X2 record, it's not 100% guaranteed. But yeah, anyways, Gardevoir, Maddox, you want to?
Yeah, the big story here is Gardevoir, right? So we talked about Rune winning with this consistent list. But what we did not tell you is that this is a Henry Chow list. And the exact same 60 also won Monterrey. So we have Aban Ahmed winning with the exact same list that Henry Chow played. And Aban had to play against Henry Chow in the finals of Monterrey in a 60-card Gardevoir mirror match, which might sound familiar because I think it was it Portland? That it was, when was the Michael Davidson and Henry Chow mirror match? I think that was Portland.
Yeah,
that was right before NAIC.
Portland,
but Michael Davidson, in case just while we mentioning him, he also played the exact same 60 and had to play against Henry Chow in top 4 and lost. So we have 3 Guardies in the top 4 that are all the exact same 60 with the creator of the list himself in that top 4. Which again is the same 60 that Rune played. So
look how many Guardies Henry had to play against.
Oh my god!
Like half of them are probably his friends, honestly. Like
4, 5, 6, 7, 8
That's
Guardies through 16.
So, question, y'all: is this just the definitive Guardie list?
I mean, it has to be, right? I mean, like, how do you do anything different when you've got the GOAT Henry Chow? Working with everyone and making this the list. I'm sure they'll make changes going into Pittsburgh because they don't want people knowing it's the same 60. But I mean, the cat's definitely out of the bag. And if it's not, you're not paying attention. If you don't know about this list and you don't know like to be prepared for this in Pittsburgh, you're just literally under a rock and not paying attention because Gardevoir's here. It is one. I don't know the number. I should have made this today's trivia question. Like, how many regionals has Gardevoir won in the past year? Because I'm sure it's like 10. It feels like a lot. And it's here, man. 4 vessel, 2 rare candies. Got the secret box. Got the 8 psychics just to get them all in discard pile as soon as possible. Because the list did struggle getting discard pile energy and discard piles. So the 8 psychic really lets you get there. And your favorite in Dragapult, and that's what you want right now. You just want to feast on all the Dragapults, but you could also just be like Henry and have to play against 8 Gardevoirs. So make sure you also know the mirror if you're going to play Gardevoir.
Maybe it's like the long strat, right? Where, they go and like, hey, I'm going to create this Gardevoir list. We're going to like win all the regionals. And into Pittsburgh, you go and play like
Grim.
Jelly Guardie, or you play
Grim.
like, I don't think you're playing Grim. You play like Jelly Guardie, or you just switch to like Iron Thorns, which this deck has no outs to, something like that, right? So
you play Grim. Wait, wasn't there an Iron? Now that you mentioned it, wasn't there an Iron Thorn somewhere up here?
In Monterey, we're getting to that. Yeah, there is an Iron Thorns for any Iron Thorns enjoyers, but we'll get to that in a minute. The other story here is Terrabox again in another regional top here again. So Carter, literally the lone Terrabox in top 4 against a field of Henry Chow Guardie builds. Again, a fairly standard, Terrabox list. If we jump back to the list, we just have back to the Briar package. Briar Countercatcher, kind of all those pieces that we know. The Iron Leaves is kind of the standout inclusion in in the Terror box you don't see all the time. So Iron Leaves plus the Turo, so really respecting some of that retreat lock. But overall, just like a pretty like solid, consistent list. And we also did see Caleb Rogerson playing a pretty, actually, I think the exact same 60 as this as well, finishing in 5th place. So again, the story of Monterey is really a bunch of these American groups kind of got together, had a list they're very comfortable with, had a bunch of people play it, and had very great results from all of it. So this is the same list that were already, and several other folks in their crew also did
Josh
play.
Frank, yeah.
Josh Frank, shout out Josh, friend of the pod. He actually played a different build. He actually played it with a Tech Eevee line. The 1/1 Leafeon that he played at Worlds, but then also added a Flareon. So what's cool about this package is you can go in against like a Goldango, you can go set up your Flareon to power up a Pikachu, and it's basically just like checkmate on board. It's like I have like I have like both of these guys can one shot you, and you can't KO both of them.
That's pretty funny.
So very cool to see. But let's see the other decks we have. We did see Brian Kim on his own Gardevoir list from North America as well. Played actually, this is actually Henry Chow's World's Gardevoir list. So even though it's not what Henry Chow played, it is still a Henry Chow list. So again, we saw 4 Guardies in this top cut, all of them playing a list from Henry Chow. I think what's really cool is that this just goes to show that there's this extra level of like skill in the game right now, where Henry Chow and like the testing group there showed up with a better deck, showed up more prepared for the tournament, and like are dominating tournaments literally across the globe at the same time with their choice of deck and their prep. So I think it's cool to see that if there's that level of skill out there that they can have this consistent showing, right? Then how much more can everyone else step up? So
yeah, it's just crazy to me that it keeps happening. I feel like we're in the Twilight Zone. Like
happening.
Like how do you keep letting it happen, guys? Like, play Grim. Come on.
It's funny. I was actually talking with Brian from FCBC a little bit ago, and we were actually talking about how, like, even in like the Reggie Drago format, like Guardy was still good when it was Henry Chow, right? And Henry Chow was still doing well with Guardy even when Reggie Drago was running the room, right? If the number of people that are playing Henry Chow's lists right now were playing it all throughout last season,
sure.
I mean, like maybe Gardevoir could have even been more dominant type of thing than
fair.
It was, even when it was a bad call, so to say.
Can we talk about what is Henry Chow going to do when Gardevoir rotates?
He'll probably play
Gardevoir
Mega Gardevoir if he can, I guess. I don't know. We'll see. The last couple to round out the just the top 8 clean cut. We do have a Dragapult Charizard, Arath from Mexico, trying to best to defend the hometown with a Dragapult Charizard list. Cool to see some success with that. We don't see it too much. And then we also see, an Arath, your pretty standard look. We do see the Unfair Stamp kind of being that inclusion again that they're choosing from time to time. Again, that 5 Fire, 4 Luminous build, kind of comboing with the Charizard, but pretty standard list here. And we see Frank with the Charizard Pidgeot, again, deck that did well at Worlds, bringing it back here to Monterrey. Max Belt is the inclusion of the A-Spec.
Where's the Pichu?
No Pichu, unfortunately, from Matt. Maybe this was been the missing piece to help him get through the Gardevoirs. Probably not. It probably would have cost him against Gardevoir. But well, yeah, I mean, again, Charizard back and around again. One part we did mention earlier is that there was a Iron Thorns in top 16, just a quad Thorns deck. Really kind of going back to basics. No double turbos like they used to be able to play, but 3 Watchtower to get as disruptive as possible. 4 Crushing Hammers, Giovanni's Charisma, 4 Boss, 4 Crispin, 4 Arvin, a Devolution, a Turbo Energize, kind of all those options.
Because the World list didn't have Crispin, right? That wasn't a card yet?
No, Crispin wasn't around then. But you played Turbo Energize, but you had double Turbo back when Fernando Cifuentes won the World Championships.
But you got Crispin, you got Charisma.
Yeah, you got some ways to get set up. Let's see, one other part.
Yeah.
He hit a bunch of hodgepodge stuff.
It started 1 and 2.
Yeah, I saw
Typhlosion.
Yeah, you cannot. Yeah, the Quad Thorns definitely loses to Typhlosion.
Destroyed by Typhlosion.
But and I heard Grant Shen, right? Grant Shen was also on the same Gardevoir 60 as the rest of the crew, but Henry Shaw's list does not play out to Iron Thorns. So I think Michael Davidson just had to sit and watch his friend Grant just get absolutely destroyed by a Iron Thorns, but nothing you can do about that.
Yeah.
One of the pieces I want to call out is that there's a 14th place Raging Bolt list. Eric's been a big Raging Bolt enjoyer, and this is a little bit of a different build than we see. This is 4 Sada, 4 Crispin Raging Bolt with Levincia. Yeah, so a 4-3 Owl split, but really leaning into that like early attack potential with the 4 Crispin, 4 Sada. I mean, I think going a little bit more aggressive, try to set it up. Only 2 vessels, a little spooky, but actually does have the glass trumpet just for that extra energy acceleration in absence of like an energy retrieval or like third stretcher, things like that. So
yeah, this list is really just trying to Crispin early that way, because like vessel just gets Crispin just gets the energy out instead of vessel, so you don't need it as much anymore. It does have the 2 baby bolts, which I like. Everyone's kind of like talking about the stadium in Bolt right now, where it could be Levincia, could be Jamming Tower. I saw a list with Beach Court this weekend. Shout out Beach Court podcast. But yeah, I mean, you just need a stadium to bump, and I think any of them are good. I don't know if like there's any correct one. There's not really any like great application for Jamming Tower unless like you run into a bad Gardevoir player. Maybe against like Goldango, you can they're down all their balloons and Turo's down, you can like stick something to the active and then Raging Bolt around it. So there's some stuff you can do with Jamming Tower, but Levincia, I haven't seen this idea yet, and I do kind of like it. It is kind of a free energy retrieval, which we see is not playing any energy retrievals, and just opting for the 2 recovery cards, and which is very sketch. I'm not gonna lie, that is very sketch.
Yeah, I think just 2 Bolt and no Blood Moon and only 2 Stretcher seems a little light, but obviously this was able to work for that player. So real quick, do want to recap some of the predictions that we talked about from last time. We had kind of talked as a group trying to determine which build of Guardy would be the most successful. Parker and Eric were both on a Drifloon build. I was thinking it'd be a little more like the Riley McKay Fluttermane Devo build. It was a little bit of a hybrid of both those, right? We saw no Drifloon, but we saw the return of the Charms and no Devo. So I think we'll call that as maybe a group loss. Best Dango tech. We had Eric was going for that cash in hand, the Joltik Dango deck. Parker's going for Togekiss. I was going for a techless consistent list, and the winner, of course, here was Rev of Room Secret Box Goldango, which was not on any of our list really. Last piece here. Eric nailed this right on the head when we asked how many Pult Dusknors would be in top cut of both regionals. Parker thought 6. I thought 7. Pult Dusknor so good, right? Eric had the hot take with 2, and it was really like a 1.5 because we saw again Tord played Pult Dusknor, and then Kato played the 1/1 Dusclops line. So it's kind of like
straight Pult.
It's more straight Pult, but a little bit of Dusk. I'm giving you a little bit of bonus. So 1.5 Dusknor Pult.
Still, I had the hot take that it wasn't going to be that popular in Top Cut, and like I said, is Dragapult becoming a bad play if you want to win?
I'm not sure. I mean, we know it's a good deck. Is it enough to win a tournament? If we can't beat Gardevoir, I'm not sure. Around our last few said which deck we would see more of an ASIM between Charizard and Raging Bolt. Eric, I hate to break it to you, there were 0 Raging Bolts in.
It's because they all played Owls. There was one person, Tomo, that played no Owls. He started 6-0 and then bricked on stream, and then it was kind of unraveled from there. But started 6-0, no Owl Bolt. That's the way. If you want to win, if you want to make Top Cut, you got to play no Owl Bolt.
You heard it here first, and maybe you'll only hear it here.
There's some people out there that are backing me up. Come on.
Yeah, we did see 2 Bolts, and we see a Bolt in top 16 in each major, but we did see again in Monterrey, we saw the Charizard Pidgeot in top 8 as well as a Dragapult Zard. So kind of like a 1.5 there for Zard.
It's no joke that like yes, Bolt is that deck that's like you just have to go faster than your opponent. Like when you start hitting the really, really good players, you just have to run them off the table because they will win. If they get set up and they get going, they probably will win, right? Because they're good enough to beat that deck. So if you're going to play it, you might as well play the best version of it.
Very true, very true. Wrapping up these last few, are the dark decks. We're kind of deciding which one is the better of these two between Zoroark and Grimmsnarl, both of these little other options. Parker and I voted for Zoroark. Eric did vote for Grim. We had a Zorak at 17th place in Monterey, but it was Mike Ellis with a 12th place finish in
Let's go, Mike.
Frankfurt to get it done. But we were pretty close there. Both pretty fringe plays, but did get a little bit of Grim Snarl in there.
They're not
The
first
Rogue
place
stand-
anymore with all the Gardevoirs winning.
They definitely are not. The Rogue standout, however, I absolutely nailed, and you can listen to me for all the correct takes later on in the episode. Parker had picked Cerulege as his Rogue standout. Eric had picked Crustle. Hadn't really heard much from them, but I picked Terrabox, which was undoubtedly the Rogue deck of the tournament.
But is it
Absolutely
Rogue?
dominating
Is
top
Terrabox Rogue?
Your last chance to object that was on the episode last week.
Bro, you didn't say Conquilor, so I have to give you the loss.
I don't know about that one.
Now that one, if you said Conquilor and this happened, I'd be like, undoubtedly you won, bro.
I would
for sure.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Praise, man.
I don't even think anyone played Cerulege or Crustle. I mean,
What? We will get to that. We will get to that.
Last one here, a little bit of a bonus one. Eric had thrown a shot out at Erie. We said, hey, is Erie going to show up? And maybe other decks. And we did a list to say, hey, is it going to show up in anything else besides a Pidgeot Control? We did see Alessandro Cremascoli play a Pidgeot Control, finishing 41st place, who played an Erie. Bit of a skill diff, I think, on his side, but didn't really show anywhere else except for a couple Pidgeot Controls. And then finally, we said the winner of Monterey, what region would they be from? We saw Azul win in Merida. We saw Brent Tonneson win in Monterey last year for Australia. I thought that Latin America was going to be able to defend, but it was North America. Eric and Parker nailed it with an absolute dominant performance.
Bro, I mean, I talked about the numbers. I didn't like fully run them, but like it was dominant because there was only 100 and something players from US that made it, and their conversion rate was insane.
Yeah, everyone who came down to Monterey was ready to play.
The heck is Cremascoli playing, bro?
You play the Mandibuzz, your little echoing horn or a little free Eric's imitation, all that fun stuff. So,
fair.
Guys, that's our prediction results. I know that Eric actually has some data broken down, combining these regionals, as it kind of leads us into like how all this is going to affect your locals and the Pittsburgh Regionals this upcoming weekend.
Yep.
So, Eric, fit over to you.
Yeah, definitely. Before we get there, definitely want to jump into our trivia segment and give a quick shout out to our friends over at FCBC. Got some new sleeves going on. Make sure you catch up with Brian and say hi when you are in Pittsburgh. Shout out FCB Armor. I'm definitely loving I got my greens over there in the closet. I'm loving the Itchy Pollen greens. They're
the brand new Itchy Pollen green. They're awesome.
Sick.
Got like the electric blue and a new gray one. These are all pretty sweet. And actually, they have a new rose gold that just came out as well. So Itchy Pollen is out of stock, but rose gold is available. So go pick it up while you can online. Links in the description below.
Yeah, so let's jump into this week's trivia segment. I have to give a shout out to my original question. I was sharing a screen when Parker joined, so he saw it. The question was, so Max, this is for you. Let's see if you know this. I'm sure you do. I had confidence that you would have got it anyways. I talked to Parker; he wouldn't have got it. So I'm sad he saw the answer. What deck won Pittsburgh last time we were in Pittsburgh in 2023?
It was Andrew Estrada playing Lost Box Kyogre.
That's right.
Yeah.
So
Jesse Parker, who was playing Maridon in the finals.
Right.
Beach Court was on stream.
Yeah, Beach Court was on.
That was a Beach Court showdown. Yeah,
that was great. All right, so let's jump into this week's question. I had to pivot a little bit, so this was kind of off the cuff. And I kind of was just looking at Pittsburgh results, and I was like, that meta back then it was a lot more narrow. You look at the day two, because in today's world we got 30, 40 decks in day two. We got a lot more people, things like that. How many different archetypes were there in day two in Pittsburgh 2023 within one?
What is the goal of this?
The goal of this question is to get you thinking about last time we were at Pittsburgh and what decks were doing well.
All right.
I mean,
Lost Box
what are the variants group? I mean, we got different Lost Box variants? Do we have is Mew VMAX and Fusion Mew split out?
Nope, no, they're not.
Okay,
variant grouping is off.
Okay, so we got Lost Box, Maridon, Tina, Mew, VMAX, Lugia, Snorlax, probably.
I love Snorlax.
Arceus, maybe.
Arceus. Yeah, I mean, do I gotta say Arctina? Do I gotta say Arc Umbreon, Arc Duraludon? Like, do I gotta say all those
Arc
different parts?
everything.
Yeah, how many arcs do we need to talk about? So
There's
it's
only
7.
Only one arc. I'll give you
Okay,
that.
7. What is maybe Gudra's there? I don't know. Lost Gudra.
I think
That deck was
probably,
pretty fringe at
actually.
the time. Gardevoir, if we didn't say that one already.
We did. But
That's 9. There definitely aren't more than 9 decks. But we're saying anything in day 2. Like, what did little Timmy play that
if
made day 2?
one guy made it into day 2 with some random thing.
Yeah, was the guy like a Ting Lu at Ting Lu probably or something, right?
Honestly, they're probably.
Remember when Jose Murra was playing Ting Lu to everything?
Yeah. We'll throw into Ting Lu. We'll get it up to 10. What else was around that? What was like? What set was that even? Well, I mean, Chen Pao. Chen Pao's a deck that exists. Chen Pao,
yeah, 100%.
11.
I
mean, do you want to add 3
Charizard?
more and call it a day? Oh yeah. Was Charizard out yet? I don't think it was. Actually, it might have been out, but it wasn't good. Well, let's think of the sets, right? When did Obsidian Flames come out? The Obsidian Flames was for Peoria because everyone was trying to buy grabbers, and Pittsburgh was for Peoria. So Obsidian Flames wasn't out yet.
Oh yeah, there was.
So Charizard X didn't exist yet.
Was this too late or early for Rapid Strike?
Oh, Rapid Strike was definitely around. Yeah, Rapid Strike at 12 to make it 12.
That make dates. I mean, I guess someone had to with it. I guess
someone had to. They were playing Double Drapion for all the Mew players. There's definitely something we're forgetting about.
I need an answer, boys.
It's like how still. I'm trying to think.
Yeah, we'll say Palkia. We'll say Palkia at 13.
Was that like 13?
Pretty sure my face gave that one away.
Parker, you want to just add like 2 more and call it a day?
Oh wait.
Call it 15.
I'm 13. Let's do 14.
Oh, you only think there's 1 more. 1 or 2 more. I think there could be like 2 or 3 more. All right, if you want 14, we'll send 14.
Yeah, let's go 14, I guess.
All right, we're going 14.
Locking in 14?
We're locking in 14.
14 is not correct. 13 is not correct.
What?
15 is not correct. The
More or
correct
less.
answer was 11.
11.
Oh, wait. Oh, some of the things we said didn't even make it.
So the 11 were Lost Zone Box, Lugia, Mew, Genesect, Giratina, Gardevoir, Miraidon, Inteleon, Charizard, Arceus, Chen Pao, and Palkia.
But we had no Gudra,
No Gudra,
no Ting Lu.
no Ting Lu.
Hey, if that's the world, I don't want to live in it, right? I want a world where Ting Lu could have made day 2 at Pittsburgh.
That's fair. Okay. All right. Well, let's jump into our Pittsburgh discussion. So we've kind of broke down what happened this weekend. Let's break down if we combine the 2 tournaments and kind of like see what it looks like. So again, I'm going to start sharing my screen for those of you that are listening on our podcasting platforms. I'm just going to walk you through how to use Limitless Labs to its full potential. So for those that don't know, I will start at Limitless. I will go to Tools and click on Labs. It's a different website. So it's labs.limitlessccg.com. Inside here, you can look at any regional you want. That's great. You can look at any tournament you want. You can also go to Metagame tab and add as many tournaments as you want to combine those results and get a nice looking view. So if we wanted to add worlds and look at the full format, we could do that here. But for this case, we're just going to add Monterrey and Frankfurt, and we're going to break this down live. I haven't looked at this in depth. So this is how we get to it. Talk about, the meta share, where we are, what our kind of predictions are. does this look like our meta, based on what we know for Pittsburgh and, win rates and those things? Because this stuff is important. This is strictly from regionals and major data. This does not include, when you go to labs, it doesn't include online data. So that's why I really like this site. So shout out Robin at Limitless, doing a great job as always. Keep it going. So if you combine both tournaments, we had 14.3% Dragapult Dusknoir, 12.9% Raging Bolt, 11.2 Golden Go. I think that's just combining both variants because I have
that's just straight
Is that
Golden
just straight
Go.
Golden Go?
Yeah, because Golden Go Joltik box is up at.
Oh yeah, it is. Okay, geez. I'll turn it off and look at it in a second. Charizard Pidgeot at 7, Gardevoir at 10, Golden Joltik box at 6.7, Grim, and then Joltik. So let's turn the variant grouping off, see what that looks like. Dragapult goes all the way
now.
Yeah, it goes all the way up to 20% for Dragapult and Goldango 18. So as you're going to see Marty's, if you turn the variant off, it is our 6th deck here over Joltik box. I think all the Joltik box are kind of getting grouped into Goldango. But yeah, what stands out to you guys here? Do you think that this is like representative of what our meta is going to look like in Pittsburgh, Parker? What do you think? I mean, would you, if you said today, would you change anything about these top 6?
Think that so I think that people are gonna be like, oh, terrible. Whoa, that got so many spots in top 8. So I think that could overtake Grim, definitely.
Is it time for a Bouffalon box? I mean, it wasn't that long ago, Maddox. It was only April.
I know, but that deck just feels like it's not anywhere.
Feels like forever ago.
Well, why was that deck a deck?
Well, it was just because it was good into Terrorbox, but that was when Terrorbox was a much larger percentage of the room.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. Maybe you can beat it to beat Dragapult.
I mean, I don't got to find Dragapult matchup because you have the Monkey Dory that you
definitely lose the Guardy though.
Lose the Guardy, lose the Dango, lose the.
Oh yeah, you get destroyed by Dango probably.
Make it Cornerstone then. But...
Yeah, they play Cornerstone, so it's pretty tricky for Dango actually. Yeah, I think the tricky part with Terror Box is like, yes, it's a good deck, but like, are people like? I don't think people are going to like jump ship from what they've been playing for like weeks and weeks to like jump back to Terror Box, right? Some people will pick it up and play it, but what was Terror Box in Atlanta, right? I'm gonna go check the numbers while we're talking about this.
15%, something like that.
I think it like dropped, but it was projected to be like the top meta thing because of like the Japan results.
Yeah, I mean, Terrorbox, right? They had like Terrapago's Noctowl at 10.4, and then they had Ogerpon Noctowl at 10.2. So like Turtles or Terrorbox was like 20% of the room, right? I think here, even with Terrorbox having a good performance, I mean, I don't see Terrorbox being more than like 7% at Pittsburgh. I mean,
no, I agree with you, but 7% is 100% increase.
Yeah,
I agree, but I think it's 7 at the absolute max. I mean, I don't think this is anywhere like on the radar that like people could be worried about. I mean, again, at your locals, if there's someone there who's like a Terrorbox enjoyer, like they'll probably jump back to it, and like if they're around and play Shaman. But like other than that, like I don't expect people to be jumping to Terrorbox in like large numbers.
I mean, so Parker, are you saying like you think Terrorbox is gonna be on the graphic?
I do.
Yeah.
But like whether it's a good player or not is kind of just who decides to put Shaman in their deck and who doesn't.
Yeah.
I think it'll be because like it got too many results to just be like, oh, that's a fluke.
Sure. So where do you think that meta share comes from that top 6? Who falls off?
It's hard to say. Maybe Bolt players, maybe.
Yeah, maybe some Raging Bolt players, maybe.
Maybe some of the Dragapult Dusknoirs. I think like Guardy has like stands, and like I'm dead set on Gardevoir for this event.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like the average player, I feel like plays Gardevoir less.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like a lot of people could be still picking up Gardevoir. I mean, it just won the World Championships. It continues to dominate. If you're stuck on what to play and you're comfortable with Gardevoir, or at least maybe even if you just think you're comfortable with Gardevoir, like I could see this having a pretty big showing. Are people going to be scared to play it? I don't even know if they will be.
I think it will.
I don't see Gardevoir ever making it over 15% though.
I agree
Not
with
at this
that, but I mean,
point, yeah.
but I think it'll still hold at this like
Yeah, it'll be at
10
10.
to 12, right?
Yeah,
Like,
it's definitely gonna be 10 to 12. I mean, I
If
think this meta share has to come from like it has to come from Bolt or like some of the Joltik
Goldengo.
box players. Yeah, some of the Goldingo Joltik box maybe they're like, this deck wasn't really it right now. We didn't really see a Goldingo Joltik box do well. Maybe they're like, okay, because a lot of people played Goldingo Joltik box this weekend. As we see,
actually, yeah, a huge amount.
I mean, the win percentage is still almost 50%, which is really good. Like 50% win rate is like almost absurd. But Terrorbox sticks out as like sore thumb here. 57.3% win rate against all the other decks here. The only one close to it is Crustle down at 52%. So, I don't know. I agree with you, Parker. I think it's going to jump into the top 6 somewhere, and it's probably going to come from the Goldingo players of some variant.
Yeah, I don't know if there's room in the top 6 for Terrorbox. Honestly, I mean, Dragon Ball Dusknoir is here to stay. Raging Bolt, Goldango, Gardevoir, all going to be there. Goldango Joltik box, I think is going to still be like so popular. I mean, not as much as straight Goldango, but people are going to show up playing that. And we go to that like last spot. I mean, I feel like people like their Charizard too much, or people have been leaning on Grimmsnarl too much. Like, I think Terrorbox is gonna be like right there on that line, but I think there's just too many other decks that people like playing and that people are used to playing and won't shift to Terrorbox last minute.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely close. I get your point. It's tight up here, and that's what's crazy, and that's why I asked the question about the previous meta share, because the variant grouping, we can turn the variant grouping on. Even then, like there's just a lot of decks here. Like I think anything down probably to Crustle. I mean, anything below Crustle. I mean, I guess maybe Conqueror goes up, but like anything below Crustle, you're not going to hit any of these decks. You're not expecting to hit Garchomp, Ceruledge, Hydreigon, Miraidon, Melodic, but all these decks up here, Crustle and above, you gotta have a somewhat of a plan and be ready for it, because like they are like legitimate decks, and I feel like the meta is just very wide, it's wide open. But that's what's making Dragapult and Gardevoir so good, because they are those two decks that just take 50-50s or better into most everything. If you could play any deck perfect, Parker, and you played it perfect, flawless, didn't make a single mistake, what deck are you playing?
It'd be Gardevoir.
Maddox?
Dragon Ball Dusknoir for me.
Yeah, Dragon Ball Dusknoir. Okay. So if you play it perfect and Parker plays it perfect, who wins?
Gardevoir would probably win.
Probably Gardevoir.
Yeah.
It's
just weird, right? And that's just how the format is right now. That like everyone likes their deck and they want to play their deck. To your point, Max, they're not going to come off of what they like and what they know. I'm interested to see where the meta goes. I mean, look at the conversion rate. I was looking at this earlier. When we did this like over 100, I think it was like Flareon. Yeah. So Terrorbox, yeah. Terrorbox 43%. If you do over 100 results. Flareon 23%. Celtic Box 20%. So I kind of look at like when I look at like conversion rates when I'm looking on here, I kind of ignore like the smaller numbers. Yeah, we got Okie Dokie. We didn't give a shout out to the junior that made finals. By the way, did you guys see what that match was?
I did not see it.
Okay, we're gonna pull this up for you guys. In juniors finals, we had Conqueror versus Okie Dokie in finals.
That's crazy.
There's no way that's. I can't believe that's real.
So yeah, I saw.
There's a walls in top. Oh my, juniors isn't real. I don't know. What is this?
Anyways, that was kind of funny.
I
saw that. I had to pull it up because I forgot to shout them out earlier. So good stuff. But so as we're kind of like looking through this and we're coming through these results, like what sticks out to you? What from this results besides Terrorbox, or maybe it's just Terrorbox, have you like, okay, I need to be thinking about this deck going to Pittsburgh? Like, what are you thinking about? What's changed? Parker, let's start with you. Like, where's your mind going with the results from this weekend?
So my results might not be directly reflected on this first page, but like the Blaziken EX, the Conkeldurr, like that stuff was very surprising to me. I mean, Blaziken EX, good card, found the right deck to put it in, right attackers and everything.
The Chi-Yu is just very good. That's,
Chi's
I mean, when I saw the
insane.
list, I was like, oh, this just enables Chi-Yu, like for the most part. That's what's really good about it.
Yeah. I'm surprised that many people play Joltik Goldango. Like it is actually like a very good deck, but it's just kind of surprising to see, I guess. It's just like
Max, what's stood up to you? What are you thinking about going into Pittsburgh?
Yeah, I think some of the big standout for me is, some of these aggressive decks that we're kind of expecting to see do well, right? Like the Raging Bolts and Goldangos, pretty underperformed, right? I mean, we saw only one Goldango in top cut across both regionals. Of course, and is that some of that in nature of like what the top players chose to play or how the decks were built? So I mean, it didn't quite perform quite to the level that we were looking at for. Oh, that's a terrible conversion. Actually, it's not that bad with that many. I mean, with all this. But I mean, yeah, the Goldango's, Goldango fell off a little bit. Again, this was a deck that we saw dominate the World Championships, and then a lot of, obviously everyone at the World Championships is a pretty strong pilot, but I mean, obviously performed very well at the World Championship, was the deck to beat really, and now it's like falling off a little bit. So now I'm wondering, like, are you like, how much are you respecting Goldango going into Pittsburgh? Is it a deck that you need to respect as heavily as you did before, or are you saying that like, hey, the meta is like already adapting, like there's more Terra Box, like even like Conkelder, right? If Conkelder sees a 200% increase in play, like that's a bad matchup for Goldango, right? I mean, more Flareon box, like even Goldango Joltik box is a tricky matchup for Dango. So like, we're going to see Goldango players switch to Goldango Joltik, or we're going to see people just shift off Goldango entirely for something else. I'm a little curious to see, and as a Goldango enjoyer, I'm in a little bit of a spot too of like, wow, like Terror Box is a concern if that sees more play. Are people going to just stick with what they have, or is there even like some consideration to be like, okay, maybe you have a second deck to like switch to? It's kind of a weird spot. I mean, we know it's good. We know it's good into Gardevoir. I'm sure Henry Chow has some great line from his deck into Goldango, but I don't really see it. Like, I feel like if I just hit a bunch of those Henry Chow Gardevoir decks, I'd maybe be doing all right. So I mean, I think the answer is like, I'm still kind of figuring out like how I'm feeling with all this. But again, like Raging Bolt underperformed, Goldango underperformed. Those are decks that are going to show up in big numbers in Pittsburgh. The question is just, are the strong pilots going to play them, and are they going to be able to get past all of the, hostility in the room?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, for me, that's the same thing, except like, where's Goldango been? It was the, at Worlds, it was the deck. It was like the biggest deck. This weekend, its meta share, it kind of got stolen a little bit, misrepresented because, the variant grouping, is on when they do it on the website. I mean, on the stream, but it still was 18% meta share across the weekend if you combine all variants of Goldango in here. Because I know a lot of them did go to the Goldango Joltik box because, like Parker said, they're enjoying it. Whatever, you jolting charge, you amp you very much, you superior energy retrieval, KO, right? It's very easy to pilot. So right now, the surprise for me is just how well Gardevoir continues to do, and that deck just shouldn't function that well. It just shouldn't. And but Research and Ionos, those are good cards, and Monkey Dory's. I think Monkey Dory is just the MVP, right? And that's what puts Gardevoir over the line, right? That's why Gardevoir's so good, is the fact that it can just abuse Gardevoir every turn and every game. So I don't know. We'll see what happens as we get towards Pittsburgh. We talked about Conkelder. We talked about some other decks, the Greninja deck. Any other cool decks you want to call out that you saw from this? We have 15 Rockets Mewtwo's.
Yes, sir.
What? Who did best? Is it not showing?
Probably didn't do that well.
We have 15 Rocket Mewtwo.
I see one at 4-3-1 in Frankfurt.
That's crazy, honestly.
Yeah, it was Monterrey.
Some of these decks on here that people play. Some Rocket Spied Up, some Azumarill.
Yeah, when we get to Crispin's Corner at some point, it's gonna cook.
Yeah,
there's gonna be there's some good stuff down here.
Lily's Fairy, Copperaja, Mill. Someone played Wug Trio.
Wug Trio, I saw that. Yeah.
All right. Hey, so Any other cool decks you guys want to call out that we didn't talk about, or is that everything? All right, Maddox, for you, if you had to give one piece of advice for everyone going to Pittsburgh or playing locally in their tournaments, what piece of advice would you give them for this week?
Yeah, I think for me, it's not to react too overtly to like everything that you're hearing from the content like us and from the tournaments this past weekend, right? Ultimately, if you're going to a big regional like Pittsburgh or you're going to like a League Cup, ultimately, your comfort is going to be key. So whatever you're most comfortable with, lean into that still. And then also, I would recommend, if you're debating between like that power card or a consistency card, it's like, hey, do I want this tech option? Do I want this, extra ball card, right? Like when you're playing a lot of games, just like law of large numbers applies, where you'll get more games reset up. Now, again, if you're playing a tech that helps in like Gardevoir or Dragapult, then like maybe worth keeping. But if it's something for like a more fringe deck, then I think you probably are just better off leaning in your consistency. So stick with what you know, stay confident, get some sleep the night before your tournament, and just show up and do what you do.
Parker, what advice do you have for people?
My advice is to overreact. If you see a terror box in the room, you put 4 shamans in. No, I'm just kidding.
Now we're
Just
talking.
just like Maddox was saying, I mean, let's play what you're comfortable with. Obviously, we know Gardevoir is very good. Dragonfall Dusknoir is very good. But if you're like, man, I'm really feeling myself with I don't know, Joltik box. Joltik box, great deck for League Cups. You just plow through your opponents and like set up every game. Boom, really good play.
Yeah. I mean, to add to that, I mean, there's like, we're just talking about how wide the meta is. I mean, there really isn't like a bad deck out there. If you know it well and you spend time with it, like any of these decks are really capable of winning anything, right? I think if you have a theme deck, like let's upgrade you a little bit. But like as long as it's something that, is irrelevant to meta deck, then it's going to be a good call.
Yeah, I mean, for me, and this is more of a topic than it is anything. It's be prepared for a long day. Be prepared for some new time rule changes. Adapt. We didn't even talk about the time rule changes that happened in Frankfurt that are very likely to happen in Pittsburgh. So, for those that don't know, we talked about the phases last week and how it does apply to 2026. So, we kind of implied that we believed phase one was day one and phase two was day two because that's how it's been. But that's not necessarily the case, as in Frankfurt. So phase one was 8 rounds as projected, but phase two, instead of it being 6 rounds on day two, they played round one of phase two, which was round 9, on day one. So they did a cut. Their friends went to dinner, and if you made day two, you stayed and you played round 9. So be prepared for that because it, and I'll get your guys' take in a second, but it does have implications, right? Let's just say you're 4-2-1 and you have to play out round 8 to go 5-2-1 to make it to phase 2, and you win an emotional round 8, right? Like, usually you could go celebrate with your friends, have a great time. But now you got to like lock in and you got to win, because if you want a chance to win the tournament, you have to win that round 9 and then win the rest of your rounds. So same applies if you're 5-2 and you're not going to ID and you're going to play it out. Same applies, right? Or you are going to ID. You can't just go hang out with your friends like, oh, I celebrated May Day 2, right? Yes, you made day 2, you made phase 2, and you got to play one more round. That's most likely going to happen in Pittsburgh. If I was a betting man, they did it in Frankfurt. They didn't do it in Monterrey because it wasn't a big enough tournament for that extra round. They had 8 and 5, so they just did 8 day 1 and 5 day 2. But yeah, what do you guys think about this? We weren't really prepared for this round 9 on day 1 and phase 2.
My initial reaction, I don't like it. Like the 8 rounds on day 1 is still like 9. I think like 9 was a really good number.
Yeah.
But I thought, hey, they want to finish the tournaments faster. They need to leave the venue earlier. But no, now we're just playing the 9th round on day 1 still. So I don't know. I like the whole idea. Oh, like play it out of your mind. Game 3.
Yeah.
Go crack one with the boys at dinner. Like prepare for day 2. But now you're like, oh well, now I gotta play around 9. But I guess like there's an upside if you trying to win the tournament, you're 5-2-1, and you lose round 9, you could just not show up the next day, I guess.
Yeah, or did we? Oh, yeah. How many drops do we have at like 5-3-1?
I don't know.
I didn't mention that there's a chance we're going to see some of those. Yeah.
Yeah. Frankfurt.
Probably only a handful if I had to guess.
Control F for 5-3.
No 5-3 drops. Actually, I guess it'd be a 5-4 drop, right? If they no-showed round 10, for example.
5-3-1.
Yeah,
Well,
it could be 5-4-1.
Well, no, so I mean, like they could play round 9, lose, and then just no-show.
We had 1 5-4-1. So that we had one person at 5-4-1.
One person
drop.
did that then. Yeah.
So also know, I mean, 430 people in phase 2 at Frankfurt. That's a lot.
How many people missed out on top 256 points? That's crazy. I guess the point that I'm struggling with is I didn't Pokemon say this at some point that they wanted more people to play more Pokemon? That was like the feedback they got.
Yeah.
This doesn't accomplish that.
It does though.
No, because you want everyone. You still advance the X2-1s to phase 2, and you let other people that aren't advancing to phase 2 play one more round. You're going to play the round anyways.
No, I think the point here is before, right now the line isn't 6-2-1, it's 5-2-1. So before, right, if we want to go back to like an older system, for example, right, then we say, hey, you play 9 rounds, you have to go 6-2-1, and then you play the next day.
Oof.
So the change here is saying, okay, well now more people can play in phase 2, and it's a lower bar, but then now there's more people playing in phase 2. So like, I for one think it's better to, I almost think of it as, if your goal is like to get better and like play more higher skill games of Pokemon, then like having like a small cut line of being like, hey, here's everyone who, was able to win 5 of 8 basically. Then that will like put you against a higher tier of opponent. Now I agree there's gonna be some spots where, you play phase 2 and you don't really gain any more prizing than if you had maybe lost the last game instead of drawing for it, for example. Yeah. But I think if that's like the cost in order to get people more impactful games of Pokemon, then like maybe that's just worth it on its own. And that it's a benefit there of saying like the benefit is being able to get to play more Pokemon, not that you're trying to get a better or get a better standing or get better prizing, right? It's because if you have more people in the new round, then there's gonna be more people in the new round, right? Just matter of fact. And when there's 400 people fighting for 256 as opposed to 250 people fighting for 256, it's just
I did some quick math here. You had to go 3-3 in phase 2 to get 25 match points to be at 256 or better.
Yeah, or you go better than 5-2-1 start.
Yeah, sure. 45 match points was the number. Yeah, so interesting. We'll see how it impacts Pittsburgh. I heard a lot of disdain. I heard of a lot of people not liking, the change in the time rules, and the stream started round 1 tied, round 1 was a 1-0 victory, round 2 was a tie, round 3 was a tie. So just gotta play quicker. What was the tie rate? I didn't look at that either.
I know 17% at one point, I think.
I know it was at 17 at one point too. Did it finish at that? So Frankfurt Masters was 16%, so it went down a percent. Once more,
Monterrey was 19%, but we've known the past several tournaments in Mexico, as they're kind of adjusting to playing in regionals, they still have a higher tie rate, especially with the new rules. I don't think was helpful.
All right, well, I think that's going to do it for this episode of the Beach Court Podcast. Hope you guys enjoyed our breakdown of the regionals this week. Good luck to everybody traveling to Pittsburgh. Safe travels. Have some fun. Lock in and have a good time.
Yeah, and all of us are going to be in Pittsburgh, so please find us in Pittsburgh. Parker and I are competing. Eric is actually judging his very first regional. So Eric will be there amongst y'all judging. Ask some questions while you're playing, and maybe it'll be Judge Eric swinging by to help you out at your table.
Yeah, and follow me on Twitter because I'm definitely going to do some FCBC sleeve giveaways of some type in Pittsburgh. So make sure you follow me, follow the podcast, subscribe everywhere you are, and we'll see you next week, and we'll break down everything that happened in Pittsburgh. Good luck to everyone competing.
See
you.